Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Philosophy Podcast. I am your host, Controversy, and to my right, ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, none other than Mr.
Darren Love, the most happiest person in the world.
And together, we are the Philosophy Podcast. Thank you to you guys for tuning in once again this week, guys. Thank you for tuning in to a brand new episode. And yeah, without further ado, what is on the agenda for this week, mate? What is today's hot
topic?
I
thought we'd talk about happiness, I think it's one of my favourite subjects.
Happiness, yeah?
Yeah, it's one of my favourite subjects, I think,
So this week, we're talking all about
happiness.
What are your thoughts and ideas about happiness, mate?
Well, I think, if everyone is trying to be happy, aren't they?
Facts.
Or everybody wants to be happy. Or...
Well, I would hope so.
I think like some people don't know how to be happy, maybe,
Yeah, which is quite sad.
It is, it's quite an educational thing, really, isn't it, how to be happy in life?
You have to create your own happiness.
I think sometimes it takes a long time to learn how to be happy in life, a child's not happy, is a baby,
Yeah.
crying all day, you know what I mean? So, but is an old person happy, do you know what I mean? I don't think necessarily, some people, I think, old are unhappy because they've not had a very good life.
Yeah.
And it's nearly over.
Or they're struggling towards the end, and life is very difficult and very hard, and very painful. Or painful.
As I say, some people actually get old, can suffer with all kinds of things.
Yeah.
As we know, lose your memories.
Yeah. Some people, mate. Yeah, it's true.
I wouldn't want that,
Or they start to lose their mobility, or it's...
I think that's what makes me happy, actually, my own memory. It's good to have good memories, I think,
Yeah. I was going to say, when it's all said and done and towards the end of your life, that's all you've kind of really got, really. You've got your loved ones and your family and your loved ones and your memories, really. That's
right.
Because when you get to a certain age, a lot of time you're restricted, like you were saying, like, you're not, you do become restricted, especially in your late 80s, 90s, for a lot, not every single person, but for a lot of people. They struggle with their mobility, like you said, their memory might start to be, starting to give way a little bit, if you see what I mean, because they're just generally getting older, and it's just like natural deterioration of the body, if you see what I mean, like so. Or God forbid, some people end up with mental health conditions like dementia or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or any of that shit, like that type of.
Well, that's one thing I want to avoid. I don't want to lose my memory.
Yeah.
That's the one most important thing to me. It's the thing that keeps me happy. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I've got a very, like so I've not had a perfect life. Who has?
No one has.
Like my mum and dad divorcing. I didn't want that, but it happens. I think you just got to accept these things in a funny way. As you do get older, Yeah. And then you realise everybody else has got problems too. Or different problems as well. Sometimes you can learn from other people's problems, can't you?
Of course, yeah.
Just watching them all.
By analysing, yeah.
Seeing them make mistakes, So that's quite interesting, isn't it? But like I say, happiness is completely the opposite feeling to sadness.
Yeah.
And what does sadness feel like?
Yeah.
It's not very nice.
No.
And I don't like it for 1 minute in my life. Do you know what I mean? If I can help it, there have been a number of times in my life when I have been sad.
Yeah.
But there's I don't think you can get happy unless you know what sadness is.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I have experienced sadness. Who hasn't? Like losing a loved one. It's horrible.
Of course, yeah.
And this is life, isn't it? Like life would have been perfect if we never died.
Yeah.
We had our family and we were living here forever. But it's not like that, is it?
No.
We're born and we think sort of like, but as you're growing up as a, child, think hallelujah, like we're going to live forever.
Well, I think a lot of the time when you're a child, you're so eager to get older as well. Like, I don't know about for a lot of people, but for me, I couldn't wait till I was like out of school, so I could just kind of
it's funny, isn't it?
live my life, like do my own thing, like become a young man, kind of at a young age. You know what I mean? Just be free and independent. Start working and paying your way, and just working towards your future. Honestly, like when I left school at 15, you know, obviously I didn't get to finish my final year for whatever, you know, lots of different reasons, unfortunately, you know. But yeah, you know, when I left school, I was kind of so happy to be out of school. I was just like, you know, I already knew what I wanted to do, and you know, like my little plan, and getting ahead, and you know, I was already, you know.
Thing is though, like you can't, when you're a child in a kind of way, you can't wait. You know, get old.
You grow up.
Do all those adult things.
But you don't realise when you're young how much is required of you when you're an adult, especially when you're living on your own or you've got family. If you see what I mean, from a financial perspective, from an emotional perspective, from a etc. perspective, mental perspective, psychological, etc. You know. So you know, obviously, but you know.
Just saying, so when you're young, you want to get old and grow up, and you can't wait to get better and get, you know, no more. Then when you get old, you wish you were young again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Yeah, that happens a lot.
Quite a funny thought, really, isn't it? You know, where you know, I think like life is kind of like lived backwards in a funny way. You know, where like, for instance, sort of like the Earth. Okay, how old is it now? I don't know. Quite a few million years old now, billion or whatever, you know, but was it new a long time ago? Was it boring, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes I think like the future, what is the future, you know, because once you get old, you can see your past.
Yeah.
So like time goes backwards in a funny way, you know, as you go forwards, isn't it? You're with me? You know, because your memories are growing every day that you go forward. You know, so like today, if you went out somewhere, you'll remember it maybe.
Yeah.
You know, and you'll remember it next month.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like your future's it's all to do with memories. There's nothing else. Is that really?
Yeah.
You know, it's all to do with. It's got to be something to do with memories. I think, you know.
Yeah.
Where you can see your past with your memories, but you can't really see your future yet. You know, but I can kind of see my future in a funny way, you know, where I know one day, you know, I'm going to be old, older. Yeah. I know that I'm going to die. You know. You know, I can see far in the future where we'll all be dead.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So in 200 years' time, we'll be all dead.
Well, less than that, mate. 100 years' time from now, everyone that's living, but pretty much everyone that's living right now, in 100 years' time from right now, that's living right now, will be gone. Yeah. In 100 years' time. Exactly. You know, there might be a few people that may live to 100 and something. You know, a few. But the rest are all gone.
There's not going to be much energy inside of them. At that age, you know what I mean?
But it's funny. One of the ladies where I used to work, there was a lady that was 104.
Yeah, I think you said to me, you know, she had a lot of energy, you know.
Yeah, she was amazing. Like this, she was a small little lady in that, but she was still walking around. Yeah. Mentally, she was still sharp. If you see what I mean, there's anyone else out there, she could hold a conversation with you about anything at any time. And she'd be up in the morning doing
sense of humour.
Yeah, and she'd be up in the morning doing yoga. And shit.
She's
at 104.
She's somebody that's got her memories.
Yeah.
With her. You know, that's one thing I want with me at all times, my memory. You know, I think it's what makes you intelligent, actually. You know, being with the same level with your memory. You know, like, you know, like so I wouldn't want to forget things. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I do stupid things, like put the coffee in the fridge accidentally, you know, instead of the milk. You know, little odd mistakes. And they say as you get older, you make more mistakes, whatever, you know. Yeah. You know. Because you do it so often as well, you know, you're doing the same thing. I mean, I don't know how many times now, my whole lifetime, in 57 years, alright, I've made a cup of tea. How many cups of tea I've made?
Oh, of course, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. How much time?
How many times I've gone to bed now?
Well, just that one thing alone, like how much time you spent making a cup of tea over the years, in all your years of living.
And for my friends as well, you know?
Yeah.
I've lost count, do you know what I mean? How many times have I gone to sleep, you know, gone to bed? You know, quite a lot of times now, do you know what I mean? Yeah. How many Christmases have I had? How many birthdays? Yeah. I know that, you know.
Well, you could work it out.
Yeah, you could work it out. You know, I'm 57, so I've had 57 birthdays so far, 57 Christmases.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's like half a year.
Yeah.
Of birthdays and Christmases.
Yeah.
Together, you know, when you fix it all together, you know.
Yeah. You have to do 365, by, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what makes me happy, I think, having a memory.
365 by 57, and you'd be able to roughly work out how many days you've been alive thus far, you know?
That's right.
So, you know,
That's
obviously there'd be the occasional leap year in there where you'd have the extra day, you know? But yeah.
Interesting though, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Yeah. Same for me, I could sit down right now and work out, you know? Yeah. But yeah, happiness, I think personally, is the key to life. You know, you have to, it's all about balance in life, like we always talk about all the time. You have to find that, don't get me wrong, life is not always just going to be full of happy moments and high moments. That's not what life is about. A lot of us have a misconception, I think, sometimes, that our life is just supposed to be blissful at all times. And yes, that is wonderful and it's lovely when it lasts for long periods of time and everything's wonderful and everything's great. But as we all know, at some point, you know, I mean, we all have highs and lows, you know. Even if it's, you know, even if nothing goes wrong for 5 years, you know, after 5 years, something might crop up, you know, whatever, and go wrong, if you see what I mean.
Like sometimes wars crop up, don't they?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, you know. So it's that thing of like, yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's another thing, you know, wars. You know, people are trying to do whatever they love doing, but then they got to go to war or something, you know what I mean, for some reason, you know, and that really destroys their dreams.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But yeah, happiness, you know, you gotta get out of your own head and stop thinking that everything in life is supposed to be pleasant and enjoyable and etc. You know, life is hard work, as we all know, you know. Life is a series of experiences and memories and tests and trials and tribulations and lessons and obstacles and you know, progression and evolution and change. You know, I think all those things are
that's the thing, nobody...
what summarises life, you know, and we have to understand that, you know, of course we all want to be happy all the time, and that's always the goal. Like me, I'm one of these people, pretty much probably very similar to my mate. We're pretty much happy 99% of the time, probably, in our other lives. But of course, you might have the odd one moment, you know what I mean? That might only last an hour, maybe, or a day, if you see what I mean. But you might have that occasional bad day, or that occasional bad, you know, few hours or moments because something might have happened, or, you know. So yeah.
Well, sometimes, you know, I mean, it's okay for me, right, because I don't get any problems with other people too much.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, you know, I'm not married like you. You know, and it's like, I remember being married, you know, and I sort of having a good day at work, whatever, come home, glad to be home. And then my wife starts doing something, you know, to upset me or something, do you know what I mean? You know, so a lot of times I think other people upset each other.
Oh yeah.
You know, especially in the world we're living in today, you know. Like, you can hear a lot of the traffic on the road, they're always kind of hooting to each other, bibbing, annoyed, you know.
Yeah.
Because they're not, you know, happy with each other or whatever, you know. I think, like, some people are happy, some people aren't. You know, I think it's all down to your heart, what kind of heart you got.
Yeah.
You know, because I like my heart, right, for instance, I love insects and animals and things, you know, so I feel that I've got quite a beautiful heart, you know, where if you're a cruel person, you're not a very good person, you know, you ain't got a very good heart.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're going to be very happy either.
Yeah.
You've got those memories, you know, of your cruelness, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I used to be cruel a little bit, you know, when I was very, very young.
Yeah.
When I was 5, you know, I used to kill the ants, loads of them, hundreds of them, you know, and I thought you know, when I grew up, might have been about 7 or 8, I thought, what am I doing? You know, I actually, you know, I didn't have no adults telling me don't do that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, that's not nice.
Just a little moment.
You know, and I think children are cruel.
Yeah, it can be.
You know, and then that, you know, especially if you have got an eye on them, you know, you let them get, you know, you say you're at the pub every day or whatever, drinking, and you leave your children at home. You know what I mean? They're going to turn into nightmares.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not going to look after them.
Oh, of course, especially if they're unsupervised and just able to, you know, able to do whatever they want whenever they want. That's going to obviously be a big problem, especially as they get older, if you see what I mean. Because if that's all they're used to and just doing whatever they want, as soon as someone comes along and tries to instill any form of like guidance or direction or discipline, they're going to rebel, aren't they? Because if there's no guidance right from the beginning, or no kind of leadership or discipline, quote unquote, if you see what I mean, then there's no, you know what I mean, children can go, like you said, in the wrong direction, can kind of go haywire.
So discipline is good.
Yeah.
In a kind of way, but
we're not always talking about physical discipline.
No.
That's another thing too. Sometimes people, of course, when we hear discipline, we're thinking physical. But not all discipline has to be physical. Sometimes you can, you know what you're, okay, sometimes you might, okay, with my son, he's got a Nintendo Switch that he loves to play.
Yeah.
But if he's really naughty, I said, I'm really sorry, because he only gets to play at the weekends anyway.
Yeah.
Not during the school week.
Yeah.
He gets to play at the weekends when he's off, you know what I mean? As long as he's done his work and everything, he can play for a few hours on Saturdays and on a Sundays, you know.
Yeah.
And we just kind of, you know, he can, whatever, you know. But if he ever does anything really wrong, I say to him, listen, I've told you repeatedly about this and you're still doing it and it's still a problem. So you're not playing your Nintendo Switch for the next few weeks, if you see what I mean. And obviously that's another form of discipline, if you see what I mean, where I'm taking a luxury that he has and he's able to enjoy on his days off, has now been taken away because of his behaviour. So if he wants to be able to play again and enjoy his game, you know what I mean, that obviously was bought for him, if you see what I mean, you know, then obviously he knows that he needs to toe the line and he needs to do what he's told and behave himself and you know, if you want, you know, that's just you know, that's how it goes, you know. You have to, you know, when you're living under your parents' roof and under their household where they're providing every single thing for you, and none of my kids go without, if you see what I mean, they don't go without in any way, shape or form, thankfully, you know what I mean, because I work hard, me and my wife work hard to ensure that they don't. But, you know, I always say to them, like, you still gotta respect the fact that we work hard to provide all this shit. You know, you have to be respectful.
Yeah, well, I mean, when children don't realise today,
no,
you know, they don't realise what you're doing or how hard you actually work, and they don't even actually know that you're paying bills.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's sort of like.
But when my son is getting older now, he's 10. I start to explain these things a bit more to him, because sometimes he'll ask me for money occasionally, here and there, and I give him money whenever he kind of needs it, really. But sometimes he has a tendency that when we go out, every time we go to a shop, he wants to buy something. Like something new, a game or something, you know what I mean? And I said, listen, this is unrealistic. You cannot expect that every single time we go out, we go anywhere, supermarket, shop, whatever, you want to buy something every single time, if you see what I mean. Don't mind doing it occasionally, because I'm only going to buy him stuff on his birthday and for Christmas anyway, as you do naturally, you know, as a parent anyway, because you want it to be special for them. But I'm not going to just continually buy stuff right throughout the year as well, if you get what I'm saying. I'll buy, if he needs something, like clothes or whatever he needs, he'll always have that. But you don't need to be buying something every time you do it, if you see what I mean. Like, you know, and I had to explain this to him and explain, you know, what life, you know, like you were saying, what kind of life is really about and what's expected of you when you're, an adult, you know. You know, I say to him, listen, I've got to pay the rent, I've got to pay all the bills, I've got to pay for the shopping, I've got to pay for, you know, lots of shit. Like, this is how it goes.
I mean, I can remember, you know, looking forward to getting my first home.
Yeah.
You know, and getting my first home, you know, it's great, you know, and then you do it for a number of years, you think, oh, bloody hell, you know, year after year, you've got to kind of like fork out money for this, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not so good as you think it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not so, you know, like I had it better when I lived back from my mum.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I wasn't paying any keep.
Yeah, I was, I had to pay keep.
And I wasn't doing any hoovering or housework much, you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I did have my mum a bit, whatever, you know, but really, generally, I was quite, not as bad as most children, whatever. But I think I was a little bit rude with my parents, to be honest with you, my mum, you know, whatever, you know, and didn't appreciate it, again, you know, because again, you know, I didn't understand the world I was living in at that age, do you see what I mean? You know, it takes time to grow, to mature and understand the world we're living in, you know.
Yeah.
It's a serious place, you know, and it's up to you what you kind of do in it and educate yourself in which way you want to go, you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's up to you, your happiness, you know, it's like the weather.
Yeah.
Your opinion about it's up to you, you know, so your happiness is kind of up to you as well, you know. You know, and I think even sometimes when my sadder days, I'm still kind of happy with my sadness in a funny way, you know.
Yeah.
You with me? You know, because I know that we're all living in a sad world, let's face it. You know, and it's quite wicked in a funny way, you know, this world, you know, and misleading, all kinds of things, all kinds of stuff going on in our world, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? You name it, it's you know, it's a night. I think it's a nightmare for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, most people anyway, not everyone.
Yeah, like you said, you
know,
name it. It's happening.
Depends what shoes you're in a funny way, you know. But I think we're all living in the same world. We're all kind of unhappy about it, you know, and that's the source. Everyone's happiness, you know. I say the bills, electric going up, you know, for everyone. Well, that's not, you know, that's not helping anyone, is it?
No.
You know, so people are getting more angry, or you know, they're losing their happiness
because of stress.
Well, they got to pay extra money for that, for the electric.
Yeah.
So they can't go for a curry with their girlfriend so much, or do what you know? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the luxuries.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know, so it's making life difficult, I think. You know, and happiness is very important.
Yeah.
You know, we could be living in a world actually that everyone's happy. You know, and I think everyone's trying to be happy.
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of people are finding it impossible to be happy because of the stress
circumstances.
Of the world we're living in. You know, you got to think all the time, pay this, pay that, and you got to, you know, we've got to be like calculators almost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it never ends.
You know, and it's like this is unnatural in a kind of way. You know, to our naturalness.
Yeah.
You know. You know, we're kind of like, you know, like so I said to you before, we're like walking trees, but we've got to pay bills. You know, we've got to pay for electric, you know. I mean, you don't see trees paying for electric or anything, do you? Or getting on a bus to go to football and paying for a ticket, you know. Little trees walking about, you know. You got to look at the world different ways, you know. That's what I like about my imagination, because it does, you know, it goes quickly into different places, you know. You know, one minute I could sort of be in an ant's mind. Yeah. You know, the next minute I could be in an elephant's mind. You know, it's quite easy, isn't it, for anyone to do? Yeah. You know, I've got to say I've said it before, imagination is the most, you know, without it I wouldn't be happy. You know? The imagination makes me happy. Yeah. You know, and it's up to you in a kind of way what you dream about, I think, you know? You know, like I say, if you don't like spiders in life, that's a big problem to you. You know? You're gonna live in fear, I think, you know, you're gonna have a little bit of fear with you. You know, you got to understand spiders, I think, you know, and love them. You know, I think like if you understand nature, you'll understand life, I think, a little bit more. Yeah. You know. You know, I'm finding as I get older, I am starting to understand life more. You know, especially because I've met you, I've learned a lot. Yeah. For the last few years, you know, like, since we've met. You know, and you know, even with our philosophy chat shows, which is, you know, your idea, I kind of learned stuff from talking about it, and you know, listen to it afterwards, whatever, you know. Yeah. And sometimes I get surprised about what you've said or what I've said in a funny way, you know. And we've spoken about it, and it's nice to get deep about these things, you know. Yeah. You know, like, you know, we're talking about happiness, but we all kind of like living in this world where we've got to sort of pay a lot of money to bury our loved ones, you know, and put a marble stone on them or something, you know, or whatever, you know, and you know, when you love someone, next minute you're paying thousands out to, you know, bury them. It's quite sad, I think, you know, and it's quite daunting for people to look forward to in a funny way, you know, where we've got this coming up to everyone, you know, in a kind of way, you know. And I think this world could be a lot happier, let's put it that way, if the government wouldn't mind so much. Or something, you know. Yeah. Or the world was a lot better than it was.
The problem is
that fairer.
The problem is that going to the whole government thing, I think we're living in a day and age where I think we're slowly going to get to a point, it seems, that we might start getting rid of these governments and start being more free as a people, in terms of, instead of having all these people making these decisions for us, why don't we collectively make these decisions, if you see
Well,
what
I
I mean.
hope so. You know, I hope
Rather
so.
than just having this old antiquated institutional system that's in place today, where you've got all these different politicians, you know what I mean, foreign minister and sports minister and tourism minister and agricultural minister and all these different ministers and shit, and it's just
Hilarious.
Huh?
Hilarious.
Yeah, it's just
I find
like,
it quite funny.
it's like,
It all costs money as well.
and it's just this
Fortune.
old thing of going in there and being like, oh, Mr. Speaker, and no, you know, I don't mean this disrespectfully in any way. I'm just saying that why are we still doing this? In this, I know I've said it before, but this is 2022, year 2022. Why are we still having this old system that's in place that obviously is not working? Obviously, things are getting worse again. The Bank of England have just come out and said this is possibly the worst recession that's about to happen in 33 years, if you see what I mean. Meanwhile, it's one big shit show. Well, that's what it is, isn't it? You know what I mean?
I think we're living in a casino world.
It's like that's what I say to people. It's like a bloody simulation. It's like
basically what I think.
It's like a simulation.
I think what man's done basically,
Yeah.
is turn nature into a factory.
Mm.
If you see what I mean.
Mm.
It's like a factory.
Mm.
Nature never used to be a factory. Do you know what I mean?
But it's just, I just don't understand why. We need to evolve even more as people. This is the reality, not you're saying. We need to evolve more as human beings. We are super intelligent, super creative, super artistic, super wise, etc. There's loads of people out there that are, you know what I mean, intellectually gifted, if you see what I mean.
So I mean, I think that's...
And we need to evolve as people and try to figure out solutions to the... It's almost like we need to press the reset button in a way and start again. Say, listen, we need to accept the fact that this is no longer working and be honest with ourselves and stop, everyone needs to stop just being so reliant on other people to run their lives for them. I think that's what it is. So many people are just happy to relinquish to someone else to run their lives for them, to make all these decisions about, you know, how their country's run and, you know, all the different decisions that gets made, you know. But it's not working, so we need to go back to the drawing board and start fresh, you know.
That's the thing. Like,
and I think that will help to bring some happiness. If you see what I mean, you know.
I was looking up the first ever company.
Yeah.
Was something created about the year 500 in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can Google it if you want.
Mm.
You know, and then companies evolved slowly around the world from there.
Mm.
You know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and we're living in a business world, and business is not a very nice. You know, I don't like it at all.
Mm.
You know, and I know that some people love it. You know, it is a winning thing for some people. You know, it's money, whatever.
Mm.
But it's making our world into, you know, it's turning men against men, women against women, children against children, and so on.
Yeah.
You know, and it's making people, you know, it's just the world we got.
Of course, yeah.
You know, nobody's going to change it. They've all like this. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
You know, and lots of people are happy with the business world.
Of course, yeah.
You know, and I think like, you know, what you were talking about earlier on about the yes honourable speaker, you know.
Why are we still doing this?
Well, you know, and it's not really
in 2022.
It's not real, is it? You know, like, you know, come on, you know, sometimes they're sort of like having a laugh about each other or whatever, and always respecting each other, even though they've done wicked stuff.
Yeah.
You know, or said something really rude. And
Yeah.
I said, yes, but I still respect you, honourable gentleman, and you know, whatever. And
yeah.
it's so kind. It's rude.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean. You know, sometimes kindness is fake.
Well, it is all fake, isn't it?
Kindness, you know, another thing to study.
Yeah.
You know, you can study happiness, but kindness is quite an interesting thing to study too. You know, like you could be too kind and give everything away.
Yeah.
Or some people are kind for their own purposes.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe for sexual purposes or money purposes or whatever to gain. They creep around people